if I put your card into an ATM machine, punching in the right 4-digit number is a prerequisite of getting money out of the machine. That specific, particular unlikely number out of all the possible range of numbers is the only one that will get me the money out. Similarly, the fine-tuning of the universe, this particular set of laws and conditions out of all of the possible sets of laws and conditions is a prerequisite of there being life in the universe.
The fact that the universe is so organized as to have produced life on this planet is a fact. Rather like the fact that my great-great-great-grandparents caught that particular train and went into that particular cafe and encountered one another in that particular way. I don't, however egomaniacal I might be, however vain, think that my great-great-great-grandparents were doing that on purpose to be sure that I, some centuries later, would be born.
The thing about the fine-tuning of the universe is that complexity, that unlikeliness of the tuning is specified. It's a specified complexity. And that means that we can know about those conditions being a prerequisite of any life at all, independently of what the results happen to have been, historically speaking. We can only say, historically, that certain people meeting at certain times in a certain cafe and so on led to this particular result. We know that historically, but absent of knowing actually about you and your life, we wouldn't be able to independently of that knowledge specify the condition of what those events could lead to or not lead to, or may lead to someone else, a comparable, objectively comparable sort of outcome, maybe not this particular person, but some other person or whatever.
I think my great-great-grandparent analogy introduces much more variability, a much greater set of chances, in fact, many more parameters than the ATM machine. You can actually there's an algorithm you could imply here about how many times you punch before you get the right combination of 4. It's pretty large, but I think the number of my ancestors is even larger.
The point is that it was kind of inevitable in the history of life that people would meet and have children, and you happen to be the end result of that process. But it doesn't involve any design in that sense. Whereas it's hard to see how that is analogous to the universe, in as much as the universe had these very specific initially existing constants at its birth. And I'm kind of having trouble seeing how that sort of initial set of conditions is analogous to the chance meetings of people down the ages that produce someone, because...
Well, but I can specify it. You see, I can say, now I exist, and I couldn't have existed unless, and then I can specify a list of conditions that would have to be met, and among them would be my great-great-grandparents would have to have done things just so in order for it to be the case that my great-grandparents and then my grandparents and my parents and then finally I came into existence.
Well, I think we're going to have to, at this stage, agree to differ over whose analogy is the correct analogy, which analysis of those conditions is correct, and whether or not we're sort of projecting ourselves retrogressively back upon them or not. I don't think we are. I think it's this key thing about the specified nature of that complexity at the beginning being knowable independently of what particular history or results has come from it.